Nerds Arcade. I usually do video hauls every week, and I haven't done them since about the second week of June, middle of June, either the first or second week or whatever. When I get home from the comic book shop and like the day off and running errands and all that stuff, I usually get home and crash. Like I'm usually too tired and I'm not in the mood to do anything else but post videos to, of course, help smaller creators get views for their videos and create a wider community. So I'm usually just too wiped out to do a haul, even though it's not a lot of work. It's just, it is at the same time when you're like totally out of any energy. Um, you know, uh, I hadn't been in the mood, and then, a few weeks ago, I had to put my one of my dogs down, and I've been kind of bummed out and not in the mood. But I've been collecting comic books. In between, anyway, I've been collecting comic books since about the second week of June, keeping schedule. Just not in the mood to really do anything, video wise, really. This video is going to be like a long video because it's going to be like all the books I've collected since, the first, second week of June or whatever. And I'm going to a new format for video hauls. They'll be in shorts, they'll be a lot shorter and quicker and be a lot more easier and convenient for me to kind of post and get out into the world right away, as opposed to coming home, doing a haul, and getting all the video stuff right and all that. I'm just usually too tired and wiped out, and then like a little too lazy at the same time. It's my days off. It's my days one of my days off, and I need to use it. So this is gonna be a long haul video. I'm gonna catch up, and then I'm going to go to a new format starting tomorrow and from now on. Once again, I get all my comic books at Red Nails 2 in Toronto. If you're ever in Toronto and need comic books and cards and all that other good collectible stuff, you can go to Red Nails 2 in Toronto. And if you're not in Toronto or you're not visiting Toronto or whatever, you can also go to the website rednails2.com. They do not sponsor me in any way. They're just my childhood comic book shop. I've been going there for 30 years off and on, right? So I like to shout them out for, always supplying me with the best. And yes, by the way, those are my dogs, my past dogs' hairs on there. They're staying. I'm sorry, I'm nostalgic like that. But anyway, so let's begin with Trinity. I think it's the daughter of Wonder Woman. This is a variant cover. I wasn't necessarily interested in the book itself, in the title itself, not necessarily. I was more interested in the cover. I don't know. There were a lot of variants, and this was like, one of the ones that was going. So I was like, I'll check out the issue, but really, the cover's the thing, and that's the whole reason I bought this. I'm a very easily entertained person. Okay, next up, as you see, we've got the new Avengers. I'm not necessarily the biggest Avengers fan, but I'm interested in kind of what's going on here. Just kind of like really vaguely, really sparsely interested in it. I'm not like a big two guy, so I like the characters that are on the cover, so that's the main reason I went with it. I don't think it's a variant. I can't remember. I don't think so, but whatever. It's the only reason I went with it. It's just because I'm kind of curious about it. This one here, curious about this storyline here. It's just it's of course it's really out of the box, Spider-Man versus Predator. So I'm curious about it. I'm not into the whole Predator universe. Like I haven't seen a Predator movie since the Danny Glover one. Was that the second one? So I haven't been keeping up. I don't know what's going on with the AVP and all that and all the new Predator movies. I do want to see them, but I'm just not in a hurry to. But this intrigues me because it's an interesting dynamic. This is just the Zero edition of Planet Death, and it was free. So once again, if you know me, past videos, I'll say up and down, I'm not a Godzilla fan anymore, but I do like these one-offs, and I like this variant cover. It's a throwback to the old Marvel Comics cover releases, and it's just I like the one-offs though. So I figured this would be. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I don't necessarily collect his stuff, but I'm a fan, and I'm nostalgic for Godzilla, even though I don't check out Godzilla stuff anymore. This is just a good, kind of way to, be able to catch up with Spider-Man a bit and to, kind of relive my Godzilla fandom from back in the day. I honestly don't know what the heck the title of this book is. I'm too lazy to look it up, and I forgot that it's in the pile. It was like upside down, and I just pulled it up. I was like, "What the heck is this again?" Anyway, I kind of liked the cover, and it's a first issue. Devil's Due. I'm not familiar with, so I decided I'm gonna check this out. That's the basic crux of how this went down. With this, I'm digging the cover, and I like the art inside. It's a one shot. Can't go wrong, right? That's essentially the way I look at things now. I love one shots. I just hope they become more of a thing. It's Image. It's a number one. I love the cover. It's very, Final Fantasy, that sword there. I just love the cover. It got me right away. And when I saw it was a number one, bonus. So that's why this went down. I forgot that this had come out, and the Demona book came out, and I was like, well, it looks great on the inside, the Demona book. So I was like, let me get caught up on this universe here, and I kind of had to go into the bins, and I pulled this out, and I'm gonna. I was a fan of the show when I was a kid, because as far as I'm concerned, it was one of the best animated series. I think after Batman animated series, I think they came out around the same time. Like DC was doing its stuff, but for like non DC, this was like really good original, series. It was deep. It was dark. Had cliffhangers. It had, it was beyond like its time, especially for little kids to be watching after school. You know what I mean? Not that it was like grisly or adult or anything like that, but it was just so good, right? So it was a pleasure to come home and watch the show, and I'm curious about what they're doing with the comic book. So that's how this went down. And of course, the book that led me to pick up the Gargoyles was this. Just great artwork inside. Is a great cover. I think there were a few variants, but I was like, this original cover, it's like it does very good. And she looks so sinister in the cartoon. She's kind of they really watered her look down, but for this cover they really went in with the whole the name, like Demona. It's like, yeah, she's not supposed to be like a Barbie princess or anything like that, right? With this book here, I really like the cover. I like the fact that it's a number one out of Image. The cover, like I like the artwork of the cover, but what the cover suggesting, suggesting, what the cover is suggesting. I don't know how intrigued I'm gonna be, but I was like, let's see where this is going, right? I'm very curious about it. So that's that. The title got me intrigued. The cover got me intrigued, mostly because of the sword. I think if it wasn't for the sword, I probably wouldn't bother. But maybe I would. I like the title. I'm a sucker for, judging a book by its cover, and I have a feeling. I had a good feeling about this book when I saw it. The title of this book, and what it's what it's suggesting. I don't know why I'm doing that. What it's suggesting, it looks like it's gonna be some sort of spy story, and I'm all into spy stories, especially if it's got something to do with like nuclear war from the Cold Era, like nuclear stuff from the Cold Era, I should say. It looks like it's gonna be about that, so that's what intrigued me. I'm a big history buff, and there are certain subjects that grab me more than others, and this was always one of them, if it's what I think it is. This was just such a good cover. It's such a good cover. I love the graphics. Now, I didn't watch this show as a kid. I didn't come in, I didn't grow up. I wasn't into the Power Rangers and all that, the other stuff. I wasn't at all. All my friends were into that. They're at home watching that stuff. I was out playing ball. I was not interested in these shows, but I love this cover, and I want to see what they do with it because all the Power Rangers and stuff like that. I wasn't into the shows because they just seemed corny to me, but I love the characters. I love the characters, the designs, the concept of these shows was so great. So to see if they do something, adult like about it, like, something a bit more mature and, if they can get a great story out of it, because the cover looks great. If they could get a great story with these characters, then I'm in. But I just wasn't into them as a kid because I knew it was light, right? So I'm looking forward to checking this out. I honestly don't know what the heck this book is going to be about, but I was digging the cover. It's like a mix of like disco or 70s Magnum PI with, sci-fi. And the title, for some reason, like when I saw the title, like design and everything, the first thing I was thinking was Dirk Gently. That's like the thing that popped in my mind, right? I love that show. So I don't know why I got that vibe, but it's like I'm hoping it's kind of just as funky. Like there's some great story to go with this great cover design because it looks like it's gonna be bizarre, just like right off the top. So I'm looking forward to reading this very much. Okay, and there's Planet Death. Now, I it is this is a very premium book. Like the manufacturing is very premium. I'm digging the cover and everything. So, I think it's supposed to be a short series. So I'm looking forward to that being short. I'm hoping this starts off well. I'm hoping this is like like I hope I can like get into it because I've heard what it's like, and I'm not necessarily into those properties like the Warhammer and whatever other things those are. I'm not necessarily into those. Not that I have any experience with them, but they just don't look like my vibe. So I'm hoping this is a little bit, different from that. If it's the same, then I won't know anyway. And if it's good and I enjoy it, that's all that really matters. So, I got this once again. I'm a cover buff. I'm into comic book covers, so this was pretty much what drew me in. That it was the cover and just the premium manufacturing of this book. This book just like looks like it's going to be a great pulp type story. I love the cover. The cover is great. Like the design, everything about it's great. The art, the design, the font, all that. So I'm really looking forward to this because I flipped through it a little bit and it looks like the story is like supposed to be really good. So I can't wait to, dig into this and check it out. Now I had missed this when it first came out, and when I heard it was a thing, I was like, okay, I gotta go back and look for it. And I'm lucky that they still had it in like the past issues section. I didn't have to go like bin hunting or anything right away. Um, I I I didn't get into Batman and Robin. Like I'd never really been into Batman. Like to tell you the truth, not because I'm not a fan or anything like that, but just because, like I said, I I'm way more into indie comics than I am the big two. But I do love like the whatever properties that show up in animation, movies, whatever. And I love the cover of this, and I've always been intrigued by the story of Jason Todd. Like his Robin run is probably one of the more tragic, and it was like very. I don't know. This his story is like the one that like really touched my heart. So I'm curious to see what they did with this. I guess it's just like a rehash. I don't know, a retelling, but I'm looking forward to it because I love the art. I love the art on. I love the cover. I love the art inside, and I'm probably gonna run with the series. I'm probably gonna go back and get the rest of it just because I wasn't. I got the issue that matters with this book, I guess, with this Robin, but I'm still curious as to the whole story, his whole story, and whatever, because it is one of the more compelling stories in the what I believe in the DC universe. So from what I've seen, everybody's been like totally butchering the pronunciation of this, but thanks to one of the creators that I follow and I post a lot of. I got the pronunciation I think is the closest Gehenna. I think that's supposed to be, or Gehenna. Gehenna was what he went with, so that's what I'm going with because that's what it looks like. But one of these, I flipped through it. Great art, great action inside. The cover, of course, is like pulls you in right away. Image has like been doing the right things the past couple years, so like especially this year and a bit of last year, they've really been doing the right things. So I'm into it, and I want to check this out. I think this is going to be one of the few series that I stay in touch with. Let's put it that way. Oh, oh yes. Now I didn't watch this as a kid. Once again, I bits and pieces. It was on television. I'd leave it and be doing something else. Maybe let it run. It wasn't. I wasn't a big fan necessarily of this series, but when I saw the cover and I saw that it was going to be a comic book, I was like, I'm into it, and I'm kind of looking forward to what they read with this. A lot of these properties, like I said, I didn't support as a kid. I've always thought to myself, what if they did a real raw version of them where it was like it's not going to be this watered down television cartoon trying to sell toys. Like, what if they do that, right? So I'm looking forward to this a lot. And last but not least, the Captain America 1 that came out. I got another Captain America 1 last year, so I don't know if this is like some sort of rebooting or trying to rejigger it or try to figure it out. Love this cover, love this variant cover. There were a few, there were like 3 or 4 to pick from, but I went with this one because it's kind of a throwback to the original Marvel comic cover designs with the the all that. So let's just say that. Captain America also was one of my favorite comic book heroes. God knows America can use him right now, but he's one of my favorite characters. Believe it or not, of all time. His Marvel movies are my favorite. Is what I'll say to that. And I'm not necessarily like like a collect everything Captain America fan. He's just one of my favorite characters in all of everything fandom since I was able to see and comprehend. Right, he's one of my favorites, so I had to get this. Yeah, so once again, we'll be checking out the new format. This video will be coming up. They'll be both be coming out at the same time, but like I said, this will be catching up with the old format, and I'm gonna be going to a new format. Looking forward to uh, whatever, checking out whatever what you guys think of what I got. If you guys want to leave comments or whatever, it's up to you. If you just watch the video, I'm good with that. So it's cool. Check out more excellent comic book stuff at Starcade Lounge, starcadelounge.com. I've been doing deeper research into more fandom, like just looking for more creators, small time creators who are doing their thing, loving loving their part of the fandom, their aspect of the fandom, and just pushing those videos and expanding the fandom more. So I want Starcade Lounge, the Down Rock Records Arcade, to be like going into a Comic-Con every time you go in. And I know comic book fans will be like, oh, there's too much of everything at Comic-Cons, but I love just everyone who is a geek about something, meeting at these places and, checking each other out and mingling and mixing and all in the same stuff. Because when I was a kid growing up, everybody had their own thing. You were into Robotech, you were into Transformers, you were into something, but we all kind of did our own thing, and we were separated. So it's just great to be able to go to these places and everyone's like there, and you get to see everything, and you get to indulge in a little bit of everything, even if you're not into everything. If you don't collect anime, you don't collect manga, whatever, or you're not into anime, you don't collect manga, Pokemon, all that stuff. Like I'm not necessarily a fan of everything, but I'm a fan of people, being a fan of that stuff, because it's just it's a wonderful thing when people can like really be who they want to be and share who they are, despite being into different things. Everybody's just cool with everybody doing their thing. It's a great thing. That's all I can say is I didn't get to grow up with that as a kid, and I'm a grown ass man geeking out about it today. So that's my aim for Starcade Lounge. You will see a lot more various types. It won't just be comic books and video games. And really expanding to try to make the Starcade Lounge more accessible to various fan types, right? No matter what they're into, I'm going to try to support it. And it's also about learning and appreciating people digging the things they do. So expanding it, looking forward to that. Hoping y'all join me there and you get to grow and expand and learn more too, and you get to share and show me more as well, because I'm into everything. I won't become a collector of everything, but I'm like into everything. I'm curious about it all, so looking forward to that. So join me at thestarcadelounge.com. Catch you in the next video, a lot shorter. Enjoy the week, enjoy Starcade Lounge, enjoy life, and I'll catch you in the next piece.